Kouncil of Kyle. Atheism, the Big Bang, the globe Earth, and evolution, all parts of the same narrative. You said you had confidence in the Big Bang. Are you an atheist also?
Why do you view them like that? I'll use your terms in this instance, but I do not want this to become a grammar semantics issue. I have confidence in the scientific method because it has presented that the Big Bang is the event that we have the most data and evidence for at the moment. If that changes with new evidence or data, so will my stance. Science isn't digging your heels in, refusing change, and stating a belief, then working your way to that stance by cherry-picking evidence for said belief. I'm agnostic, which is different from atheism.
I view them like that because people like Carl Sagan, Stephen Hawking, and many others present them like a chronology. Now you say you're agnostic, acknowledging that the universe could have been created by some kind of a higher power, but you don't really know for certain and/or are indifferent about it. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Believing in the Big Bang Theory is like believing a tornado can go through the woods and leave behind cabins.
That appears to be going with the evidence to me, not digging my heels in on anything.
Sure. The Big Bang is like a tornado going through the woods, and then over the course of billions of years the woods not only recovered, but had sentient life to build cabins. That analogy is a bad faith argument because it seems to be built on the idea that the Big Bang happened and everything that we know now just instantaneously spawned in. That isn't at all how the theory goes. It'd take billions of years to get to where we are today. Speaking of age though, how old do you think the planet is? It seems like you believe the planet is flat as well, and I'll get to that eventually, but I'm curious on how old you think the flat disk is?
Not all life developed in an instant. That's fair. I have no idea how old the Earth is and make no claims about that. And yes, I am very much a flat earther. Do you agree that evolution can't make plans for the future? It can't say, I'm going to put this here and that there so I can use them later?
What purpose would there be to hide that the Earth is flat?
I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
When the moon landing was a lie, and they showed photos of the globe Earth because it was a popular belief at the time, they've got to roll with it or be exposed as liars.
Evolution doesn't plan for the future. It adapts to the current over long periods of time.
Since evolution doesn't plan for things, the bombardier beetle seems to be evidence that evolution did not occur. That isn't me digging my heels in on anything.
Okay. So NASA has been lying this whole time because of the moon landing. How haven't any hostile foreign nations come out with proof of a flat Earth to prove NASA as liars? NASA, with a budget of $25 billion, is able to keep this under wraps even from nations that would love to expose the US as liars? How is that explained away?
If the ISS has shown us anything, it's that many foreign nations are in on it. although it appears their collaborative efforts aren't always the greatest. As this meme says, if the globe were true, there'd be no discrepancies.
How does that beetle prove evolution did not occur? If anything, that beetle shows how environmental factors, such as diet and predators, cause creatures to adapt. Why would there need to be a plan with the theory of evolution? That seems like an injection of religious belief in a higher plan/power needing to exist in order for things to function.
The bombardier beetle proves that evolution did not occur because it is able to release two chemicals that, when combined, cause an explosion. To do something like that requires planning, and as you agree, evolution can't plan for anything.
The bombardier beetle could not have evolved because it needed everything all at once. It could not have happened one piece at a time. If its combustion happened by chance,
fatality.
No more bug. Dead bugs can't pass on genes. If a bug can't pass on genes, evolution can't happen. To keep itself from blowing itself up, the bombardier beetle has many parts inside it to prevent such a thing from happening, such as asbestos lining. An animal can't take preventive measures unless it knows what it is trying to prevent. There is no room for trial and error here. And it turns out it isn't just one big explosion either. It sounds that way, but if you listen in slow motion, it is like a machine gun. It produces a whole bunch of little explosions so it doesn't go flying off like some kind of rocket beetle. There is no way this happened by a freak chance slow process.
North Korea is in on it? North Korea, who is an isolation state that is hostile to the US, is in on it. All 195 countries agreed with the just 26 that created the ISS, and they all are keeping it secret. Doesn't that seem far-fetched? That wouldn't require planning. Does humans having thumbs require planning? No. It's an adaptation that gave us the edge. Same with the beetle.
A thumb doesn't explode if it develops wrong.
A better question would be, if you can't see evolution being the answer to that beetle, what are you advocating as the answer? Wait, hold up. In response to your picture, what discrepancies? The clouds that move constantly? The seasons that change? The millions of combinations of cameras and lenses taken over decades of different tech? The way each one is taken at a different angle?
Do you not see how vastly different the colors of the land and oceans are? If North Korea called the moon landing fake, do you really think the controlled media would let you hear about it? Please tell me you agree that the media is controlled.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Stuff like that is just creepy. It makes me ask, what democracy? And it makes me think twice about North Korea. Are they locking us out of their media? Or are we locking them out of our media? Or both?
If North Korea proved the Earth was flat, do you believe that the media would be able to suppress it? Honestly, in the modern age of the internet, where anyone can share anything, How many people would be required to hold back that floodgate of information and not somehow also leak out the truth? Especially after earlier this year North Korea successfully launched its own spy satellite. They have failed multiple times before and since, but you would think that if they got up there and saw it was flat, there would be no way they wouldn't attempt to tell the world. The Netherlands confirmed it's up there. North Korea didn't come out and say they used new science of the flat Earth to get their rocketry to work. They used existing round Earth science and made it into space. To your point about the media, that doesn't show big government control as much as it shows how the parent company, Sinclair Media, gives out scripts for its own stations to read. That's a product of corporate structures and streamlining. Why hire dozens of writers and editors nationwide at each station when a single crew at corporate can do the job and just email out the script? Occam's razor for a moment, which is more likely a big nefarious plot involving hundreds of thousands of people staying silent, or a simple explanation?
Do you agree that the news is controlled? Do you agree that Operation Mockingbird is a real thing? I'm not claiming that the government controls everything. I am fully aware and acknowledge that big business heavily influences, and sometimes even pilots, the government. Big business isn't limited by national borders. Looking into North Korean internet, it appears pretty locked down, kind of like the prison mail system. Also, flat earthers believe in satellites. We just acknowledge them differently than a lot of people.
I'm not here for side tangents.
Okay, what are you saying is a side tangent? Evolution? I asked you about that first before you asked me about anything else.
Let's stick to the Earth for now and go into other subjects later.
That's fine. I'm not here to stuff it down your throat or anything like that. But don't put your heels in on me. Actually, take it into some consideration.
North Korea makes public announcements all the time over their achievements. You'd think they would have a big parade if they proved the world was flat.
And if they did, what makes you think the media would cover it? As demonstrated, the media is very one-sided, and they're actually threatened by the little guys and the people who don't immediately agree with them.
What would stop Russia from coming out with evidence the US lied about the moon landing or flat Earth?
Well, they can't really out us unless they out themselves, because they've been a longtime collaborator with us.
I have talked with plenty of flat Earth truthers who wouldn't agree with that statement, going as far to say that all satellites are CGI and fake. I'm not going to say this one example speaks for all, however I do want to point out that it's a wildly different stance than the one you have.
Did you even watch the video you linked for me here? It literally shows and acknowledges balloon satellites being launched. He even literally says, "I'm not saying satellites don't exist," and then proceeds to tell you exactly what I told you.
Now before all of y'all start getting pissed, I ain't saying that satellites don't exist. I'm saying that it's theoretically absurd to think these devices orbit the Earth, 'cause I've seen them hanging from big balloons. Even Google's doing it too now, man. Have you seen that? Yeah, go check out Project Moon. And every now and then a satellite crashes, but that information never gets to the masses, 'cause then you find out how these things really work. They're just on balloons, man. They don't orbit the Earth. 'Cause once upon a time, one crashed in Brazil with the balloon attached to its steel. Welcome to the satellite hoax. Just another one of them NASA jokes. Give me a picture of a satellite without bringing up a bunch of that CGI. A bunch of cartoons all over the place.
The picture you provided was an attempt by Google to create better internet connectivity to rural areas. It functioned off of science models that state the Earth is round. Let's take this project alone for a moment here and really look into something. How many people would have had to have worked on this using calculations for a flat Earth and not exposed or let leak a document saying so? This is a private corporation, along with thousands of others across the world that work with balloons like this, all using calculations based off of wind speed and telemetry of around Earth.
If I go outside and take a measurement of the wind, you can't just automatically say, oh, well, that's a wind measurement of the ball Earth. I can just as well say it's a flat Earth.
Not a single leaked email from any of them? No recorded calls exposing the truth? Doesn't that seem far-fetched?
Okay, please keep in mind, the CIA has reported 21,575 employees. NASA has reported 18,000 employees. If the CIA can keep something confidential and classified, so can NASA. Just because you've never heard of any leaks, that doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means there's poor media coverage on that. Even if there are no leaks, do you agree that not everything the CIA keeps classified gets leaked? Just look at Nintendo. Yes, they do have some leaks, but their security is pretty top-notch. There's a lot of things that they work on that does not get leaked. To be continued. I look forward to your answers. This message has been brought to you by the Flat Earth Institute of Science, with a shout out to our Flat Earth friends at jdecals.com.
How could satellites be in the thermosphere when the temperature up there is way too severe? How can that type of equipment survive? How comes those satellites aren't burned alive? I'm telling you, man, it's just a pack of lies. There ain't no orbiting satellites because 99% of our communication comes from undersea cables and cell tower stations. A GPS is ground-based too, man. Go check out a system called LOAN. It's a military system for navigation that uses ground towers to track your location. Are you seeing it yet? Welcome to the satellite folks. Just another one of them NASA jokes. You get 5 a picture of a satellite without bringing up a bunch of that CGI. Just a bunch of cartoons all over the place. When I search satellites in space, yeah, type that phrase into Google's